Welcome to week 3 of the CRL. Today we have a pretty interesting basic circuit here for you guys. We got a couple quick turns and a long stretch of humps. It's going to be difficult for cars to get over there. They're going to need to keep their momentum here. It's a cool demonstration of momentum that we're going to see here. First up, we have Braden versus Ben Cressman. Let's get into it. So, you guys saw the lineup there. They're going to get to it now. We got Blaze 2.0 versus Koopa Troopa. Down they go. And Blaze 2.0 is just going to keep his momentum going while Koopa Troopa seems to tip over and fall there. So Braden's going to score the first point. Next up, we have Laser versus Bowser. Down they go. And Laser just keeps his momentum again. Just barely beating Bowser, but we'll get the win right there. Next up, we have Double Shot versus Blue Shy Guy. And down they go. Will Braden complete the sweep? He will not. Ben Cressman will score another point. Do you like waffles? Yeah, I like waffles. Yeah, no. Sorry about that. We got Dragonfly versus Luigi. And Braden's going to take it home. Braden will beat Ben Cressman 3-2-1. There's our winners right there. We got Laser, Dragonfly, and Blaze 2.0. Next up, we will have Peyton versus Isaac. Two very good teams. Isaac's looking to keep his undefeated streak going. He's 2-0 right now. We got Ultima versus Magnum, and Magnum scores an early first point right there. Good for him. Next up, we will see Toad versus Velvet. Let's see what they can do. And, it looks like Velvet comes back. Just barely. Looking like the CRL3 finals right there with Rocket versus Tokyo. We got Manta versus Mustang. And Manta just has more of a drive. Peyton gets up 2-1. Let's see if he can put it away. We got AJ Brown versus Bolt. Now, AJ Brown is the difference maker. He is what keeps Isaac alive in these scenarios. Like, look at that. Evening up the score. We're going to match point right here. We will have Renegade versus Eagle. Renegade's looking to staple himself on Peyton's team, and he does just that. Eagle falls off the track, and Renegade will score that last point. Isaac is no longer undefeated, and Peyton will take home his second win. Next up, we will have Kian versus Alex. Alex is rocking a darker color scheme for this leaderboard due to the colors almost being identical. We got Wario versus X4, and X4 just drills it in real quick right there. Wario just couldn't get the best out of X4 there. We got Clockwork versus Jester, and Clockwork just speeds through there. It wasn't even a question. Alex goes up 2-0. This is a very early lead here. Will he be able to hold on to it? Kian has Cyberpunk versus Fiat. Now, this is where Kian starts to take off. His bottom three starters are his best cars, if I'm going to be honest. We got Lakitu versus Blitz. And Kian has fueled the comeback. Will he be able to follow through? His best cars coming up. We're going to have Emu versus Brutinator. Will Brutinator be able to keep up the pace with Emu? And it doesn't look like he can. Kian will successfully lead a comeback to a 2-point deficit. He comes out 1 point over Alex. Next up, we will have Ermine versus Brendan. Two teams looking for their first win here. So it looks like one of these guys will finally get their win. We got Han Solo versus Mohawk. And Mohawk just keeps it up, scoring the first point for Brendan right there. Let's see if he can keep this up. We got Senator versus Bill. Down they go. And looks like Senator just barely gets it in over Bill. Tied up now, 1-1. Next up, we will have Mario versus Crimson. Let's see what happens here. Mario is pretty quick. Just like I said, Brendan gets up 2-1. Let's see if Ramin can respond here or if he will go down in flames. We got Locust versus Sullivan. And looks like Locust just gets it in a little bit quicker. Fell behind at first, but just barely beat him. But Brendan will get his first win, and Ramin will continue to be defeated. Next up, we have Landon versus Grant, an exciting divisional matchup here. Grant is looking to finish out his head-on-head matchups against his division. And that's how he's going to start. He's going to start this win. He's actually spent his first 3 weeks against divisional opponents, and he will continue on to week 4 to fight all of his divisional opponents in squad skirmish. We have Cosmos versus Ace. And Ace gets it in there, Landon will score a point here. I'm expecting this to be a very close matchup. These divisional matchups end up being pretty close. We got Converse versus Robot. Robot had trouble with the sensor. And looks like he's not going to have trouble this time, though, because he hits it. That is exciting for Robot, knowing that he can fully hit that sensor. Next up, we have Wrath versus Blue Bolt. Will Landon be able to put it away, or will Grant keep the dream alive? And Grant keeps the dream alive there. Grant's going to keep this up with a point. And we got match point right here. We got Stinger versus Compact. And looks like Stinger gets it in. Very close, but Landon will take the win over Grant. Grant is now 1-2 against his division. Hopefully, he can make it 2-2 next week. Now we have Caleb versus Colin. Two very good teams. Colin is happy that Grant lost because of divisional matchup. We got Cosmic Coop versus Black Yoshi. Black Yoshi just gets it in super quick there. Cosmic Coop couldn't even keep up there. Black Yoshi has always been a staple of Colin's team. We got Tokyo versus Red Force. And it looks like Red Force flies off it. Those taller vehicles tend to be a little bit top-heavy. We saw that a lot last year with Enforcer on Keen's team. Next up, we have Rex versus Fireball. And Rex just gets it in. Now, I'm wondering if Neon on Benrod's team will have the same consequence as Red Force on Colin's team. We'll have to wait until the last matchup, though, to see that. But we have Blue Bolt versus Xenon. Can Caleb put it away? And Blue Bolt puts it away, putting Xenon to sleep. Caleb will take the win, 3-2-1. There's our winners. We got Blue Bolt, Tokyo, and Rex. Next up is Lane versus Luke, an anticipated rivalry. Luke is looking for his first win, and who better to win against than his divisional opponent, Lane. We got Geoterra versus Shark. The CRL3 MVP scores. Not even a question there. Scoring an early first point for Luke. We got Mach versus Water Taxi. Two very familiar builds. And Mach is just the quicker build. He's got the swifter mechanics there. Will Luke complete the sweep in an exciting first win for the season? We got Bubble versus the Nuke. See if the Nuke can finally deliver. And he does. Luke will finally get a win in week 3, putting up 3 points against Lane. There's our winners. We got the Nuke, Mach, and the Shark. It looks like that team's finally operating the way he wished it did. We got Drew versus Ben Roth here. This is our last matchup. Mike Wazowski versus Drift. Let's see how Mike Wazowski can operate here. And he just zooms right away. Drift flips over. I don't even know if Drift would have had enough momentum to get through that. But, all right, here we go. We got Neon. Let's see if it'll flip over because it's a very similar build. And it looks like it does. Bottleneck will score the point. Drew is 1 point away from putting this away. And if it's anything like last match, it's going to happen right here. We got Poltergeist versus Vampira. Now, this is pretty interesting. And Ben Roth prevents it. Let's see if Ben Roth can lead a comeback similar to Kian's, or if he will just perish in just like a very disappointing matchup. All right, we got Yellow Shy Guy versus Ant. And Ant falls. So Drew will take that win there, and that is all we got for you guys. Drew will take the win, and there's all the winners. We got Yellow Shy Guy, Bottleneck, and Mike Wazowski. That's all we got for you guys. Thanks for watching. And here are the rankings. We got Braden beating Ben Cressman, Peyton beating Isaac, Kian beating Alex, Brendan beating Ermine, Landon beating Grant, Caleb beating Colin, Luke beating Lane, and Drew beating Ben Roth. Our only undefeated teams left are Caleb and Kian. We have to be undefeated. Next week we have week 4, which is the squad skirmish. It'll be 1v1, V1 matchups between divisionals, and then they go on to face another squad in their conference. Then they'll play in the finals against the 2 finalists from the other side. And then that'll finish with a head-on-head matchup to decide the squad skirmish champion. That's all we got for you, and have a good night.